Hello, welcome back to Mark's NOTCAST number 419. Good God, the man is never going to shut up about his record collection, is he? Well, no, I'm not. And today, on the 29th of December 2024, despite the fact that I am both chock full of that horrible flu thing that everyone's got, and I've had a shave, I am going to be talking about How to Dismantle an Atomic Bomb, the most recent U2 box set reissue thing, and its shadow album, How to Reassemble an Atomic Bomb. As it's come out recently last month for its 20th anniversary, those of you who are on the fence about should I or shouldn't I buy this behemoth of Bonoism, I'm going to talk you through what's in there, give you some ideas around whether you should or whether you shouldn't. A very short version, by the way, those of you who haven't got the patience to sit through 40 minutes of me talking about U2, is yes, if you want to and you can afford it, and no, if you don't want to and you can't afford it. And if you're tempted, there's a lot of stuff that's missing in here that probably should have been on the box set. So I'm going to talk you through what's in here, what isn't in here, and what the gold standard of an album box set is. And of course, the gold standard of an album box set is, oh my word, I'm getting cramped just thinking about picking this up, is Metallica. And this is the Metallica Black Album box set that came out in 2021. This band record everything. They have a fan base that's probably equable in size and disposable income to U2 these days, although they're perhaps not quite as big. And also, oops, that's knocked over my light stand. And also, let's just see what's on the Metallica set, which gives you an idea of what should be. Now, this is all the material that's on the Metallica set. There's quite a lot that's in there. The U2 set doesn't have anywhere near as much as this. The U2 set has 5 audio CDs. This has, and let me just quickly check, 14 CDs and 6 DVDs and an LP and 2 12-inch singles and a live double LP as well. So I don't even know how many discs that is. Let me just quickly count. 26 discs maybe of material. This thing retailed when it came out at about £220 for 26-ish discs, 14 CDs, 6 DVDs and about 6 slabs of vinyl. This U2, this one retailed for about £139, and this has 5 audio CDs in it. So before I get into being all bitchy about what is and isn't on here, let's go into this set and have a look. Of course, those of you who are watching it and have already made it 3 minutes into the video, you're going to buy it anyway. It doesn't matter what I say. I can say this is the biggest pile of crap box set there ever is, and you'll buy it. No, it isn't. The biggest pile of crap box set is the Pink Floyd one for Dark Side of the Moon, which is all packaging and not 1 ounce of new and unreleased material, which you will have not heard. So let's go into this. There's 3 or 4 components in the set. Oh my God, it's come to an unboxing video now. So there is obviously the outer package, how to dismantle an atomic bomb with a shrink wrap and a sticker. You would expect that, wouldn't you, really? So you can either place it on your shelf facing out that way or facing out that way. It depends on how you want to. Either way is workable. Really, it's only defined by where the Made in West Germany sticker is. And if you move that and stick that on the bottom, oh, I might do that in a minute, then it doesn't matter. It really, really doesn't. It's a good set, what I will say. Overall, it's a good set. It's not comprehensive. It's not complete. But it's a good idea of what's going on in the band at the time. Let's look through the doodads. That is to say, the non-musical material before we get too much further. We have U2, A Visual Blast by Anton Corbijn. So first and foremost, what you'll see is the How to Dismantle an Atomic Bomb artwork is not anywhere in here. It's not presented as the cover of anything. It's just presented as a picture, I think, deep inside. So we've got obviously the lovely thin book. Now, these are the very definition of coffee table books, books that you kind of look through on your coffee table whilst you're listening to the record. I don't think these are interesting books. They don't have a revisitability factor or a rewatch factor, which means that once you buy it, you look at it once, twice, you put it back on the shelf, you go, maybe another day to create a U2 single, and another day never comes. So these are photos taken on, I think, Kilburn and Hampstead Heath in 2003. I think the last time Edge was seen in public without his hat, at least for the official purposes, and then kind of rebranded for photos in April 2004, when Edge has mysteriously grown a hat. As Anton himself says, This spread was shot near St. and at an old disused hotel resort. Great looking building, but not my favourite album cover, if I'm honest, though I really like these photos here. So none of these really scream out to me. Fantastic, iconic LP cover. I mean, they're all okay. I think that photo might be on the back sleeve of the album. And we get a little bit further in, and then again, individual photographs of band members. They're moody millionaires, which is not something I ever find particularly interesting from a visual perspective. A nice fake camera thing here, so there's a problem with the camera lens, which means that the broken stuff on the background goes through into the foreground. Wow, that was quite good, actually. Again, photos of people just standing next to walls. Not exciting stuff. Some of this is more interesting. There, I think, maybe, Bono and some disco balls. Reminds you of Snobs in Birmingham. If you've been to Birmingham, you might remember Snobs having gone there, perhaps at some point in your life. If you don't, well, you really were missing out. I don't want to say it was Birmingham's version of the Hacienda, but it was where I spent a lot of my Fridays and Saturdays. There, Lesser Spotted Edge, without a hat, who mysteriously has grown a hat and sunglasses over the next couple of pages. But again, none of these pictures really stand out and go, wow, that's going to be an LP cover, isn't it? Which reminds me that there is actually a photo I should have picked out, but I'm not going to, which would have fit in far better with the band. That, for example, would have made it a good inner sleeve and complete total Dr. Strangelove Atomic Bomb vibes there. So that's it. That's your expensive coffee table book. I don't know how much that has added to it. Probably a few quid, I suspect. And then we have in here, we have 8 prints. These prints are not all the same artwork that's inside the other kind of LP. So let's have a look and see what we've got. We've got the Coexist logo, which appears frequently during the tour. We've got 8 single-sided prints. The Earth, cartoon by Bono. I like this one, How to Dismantle the Atomic Bomb. Oh, that looks a bit rude. Let's get past that. Again, some of this artwork reappears inside the book version of the album, and again, one of my favourite images there is the heart. These are basically extracts of art, paintings and little creative thingy doodads that were created by the band during the recording of the album. Personally, I think they're in here to plump up the price, to make you think, oh, it's got 8 prints, so I'm going to have to buy it. Of course, if you bought the 2004 CD and DVD, you would have had a 48-page book with far more interesting art in it, most of which is extracted and taken from here, and then included in the book. So there you go. Oops, that one again. That's a little bit suggestive. Some photos of some dudes. Hello, rich guys. And so on and so forth. These are, realistically, these should be in the book, shouldn't they, really? But what it does do, and this is where I'm starting to get into the areas where the box set has a shortfall, is that it's incomplete as a box set. U2 box sets often are. There's tons of material which exists, which isn't released or doesn't come out, which is a shame. So, with that, as a quick skip through the book and through the art prints, let's get into what's on the box set itself. I bought the CD version on the grounds that this is a music delivery system. The only thing that you will get by spending an extra £150 is these on vinyl, as opposed to these on CD. And frankly, once it's ripped into my iPod, I don't really care too much. So we have How to Dismantle an Atomic Bomb there on CD. We have How to Reassemble an Atomic Bomb here. The Shadow album. What a terrible phrase Shadow album is, and I will be getting to that shortly. Remixes, an incomplete set of remixes and alternate versions. Then we have the 2 CDs, Vertigo, Live in Chicago 2005, which is the audio soundtrack to the 2005 DVD, Vertigo, Live from Chicago. And we also get a booklet. So the booklet in here, your standard LP-sized 12 by 12 booklet. That's the only representation of How to Dismantle an Atomic Bomb's cover, the one that you'll recognise, 4 guys standing at the bottom of the swimming pool. Credits, a truncated version of the LP sleeve. Then How to Reassemble an atomic bomb in there, alongside some remixes. The remixes get a page like this. It's a replication of something from the Vertigo tour book, and then Live from Chicago gets that. It's worth getting, sure it's worth getting, especially if you're a U2 completist, and as far as a multi-album disc box set goes, it's okay. There have been Atmos mixes of the album that apparently have been played at playback parties. Quite why there isn't a Blu-ray with the Atmos mix on, or a DVD with the Atmos mix on, I don't know. That would have helped justify the sticker shock that we've got on here. Quite why there aren't more live shows, I don't know. And quite why the How to Reassemble an Atomic Bomb album is missing, because there's no B-sides on this set at all, and there's quite a lot of B-sides. So this is about 10 minutes in, the bit where I go into bitch about what isn't on the set that should be on the set, that we know exists and does circulate. So this is where I bring out all the stuff that came out at the time. So the first release from the album, Vertigo, it has a number of B-sides on. Those aren't on there. Sometimes you can't make it on your own. It has a number of B-sides. They're not on there. The audio from How to Dismantle an Atomic Bomb CD and DVD set isn't on there. The Twickenham radio broadcast isn't on there. The tracks which are from Medium Rare and Remastered and the complete U2 digital box set aren't on there. The tracks, well, two of them are. The tracks that are on the DVD singles and B-sides of All Because of You and City of Blinding Lights aren't on there. So basically, unless you have all the singles from the album and Medium Rare and Remastered, you're pretty much out on your own. It's an incomplete, half-told story. Thankfully, the band did release for Black Friday a standalone version of How to Reassemble an Atomic Bomb as a 10-track vinyl LP, limited to 20,000 copies, which sold out unsurprisingly quite quickly. This is, if you only buy one thing from the whole period and you're into your vinyl, this is the version to get. It has the album, although somehow why Bono has his head transplanted from 1992 into a 2004 photo, I'm not quite sure. It has a nice gatefold sleeve there. Has the LP, which features the 10 tracks on a lovely red and black splattered vinyl there. That's quite nice, actually. That's really nice. A very good pressing, well mastered, and a lyric book, or more correctly, a poster, which you can kind of fold that here. Although, of course, as we all know, folded posters aren't worth the paper that they're printed on. All posters should be rolled so that you don't get the crease lines. They're not even laughter lines or wrinkle lines, I'm afraid. They're just creases, because wrinkles are sexy and wrinkles on posters are not. And then the inner sleeve. So let's have a look and see what's on the album here. So there are 10 songs, not all of them previously unreleased. Side 1 opens with Picture of You, also known as Xanax and Wine, also known as Fast Cars, depending upon your version of the album. Fast Cars appears on the domestic UK and European CDs of the album here. It also features on all the versions of the Dismantle album, which come with the DVD in the expanded book pack. So I bought this version in America in 2004. I think it was 22nd of November 2004, actually. And Fast Cars, the only place to get Fast Cars on audio CD in America was on this version of the album, which to me seemed a tad abusive. But as a devalued dollar importation purchase incentive track on the European and international versions of the album, Fast Cars is on here. Yeah, it's a different cover, but that's not a big deal. I've just changed where the booklet is. So Xanax and Wine. Xanax, I think, is an American prescription drug. I'm not quite sure what it is or what it does, because I'm from Britain and drugs have different names. It appears in 3 different forms in various versions of it. There's Fast Cars, the final version of it that appears on How to Dismantle an Atomic Bomb. There is the version that appears on Medium Rare and Remastered, which is track 7 from the How to Dismantle an Atomic Bomb sessions. And then there's this version on How to Reassemble an Atomic Bomb, which is called Picture of You, which is effectively an early take of Fast Cars. So there are 3 different studio recordings of Fast Cars that are circulating, and if you don't want to buy the double double LP remastered expanded version of How to Dismantle an Atomic Bomb that came out recently with one whole extra bonus track, i.e. Fast Cars. And you want to stick with your original 2004 LP here on black vinyl, which ends on Yahweh, then that's the best place to get Fast Cars, and the cheapest place to get it is to get this. So you've got Picture of You, which is an early version of Xanax and Wine. The second track is called Evidence of Life, and that's mostly I think sung by The Edge. I think it is recorded, as it says, by or produced by The Edge and Duncan Stewart. So basically keyboards, bass, additional drums by The Edge, which is a nice way of saying that Evidence of Life is basically an Edge solo track branded as U2. And that's okay when you listen to it. Edge has got a very underrated voice. He should sing more lead on more U2 songs. Give Bono a rest so he can go and talk at somebody about world peace and stuff like that. It's a fine song, really good, really like it. Wish it would have been or is better known than it is. But like a lot of the songs from this period, you'd have looked at the B-sides on the singles and thought, the man hasn't got that many songs. They've got 10 songs here, 7 of which haven't come out on anything else. So makes you wonder how many other unreleased U2 songs there are, and the answer is, well, probably quite a lot, actually. The third track is Luckiest Man in the World. This will be well known to many U2 fans as the track Mercy. I saw them play the Mercy version of this track live in Paris in 2010. Luckiest Man in the World, like a lot of the album, suffers a little bit from being overdubbed, rethought, and having the lyrics rewritten as we got through to 2024. So the idea is that U2 work up songs, get them to a certain point, abandon them, and then come back to them for the inevitable box set. So they put lots of work into material that most people don't really ever get to hear. The same is true of some of the tracks such as Disappearing Act from The Unforgettable Fire, and remixes and re-recordings of things like Blow Your House Down and Down All the Days and stuff like that from the Acton Baby set. Is that the band have gone back and revisited them, and Bono thought, oh, I could do a better lyric than that. And then all of a sudden you've got this weird Frankenstein version of a song from 2004 and 2024. And The Luckiest Man in the World is one of those. It sounded fine to me as Mercy originally, as per the booklet on How to Dismantle an Atomic Bomb. Mercy was intended to be on the original version of the album and on early cassette dubs of it before it was taken off, which is where the circulating 2004 demo of Mercy comes from, because it's got tape hiss, good old tape hiss. That proves it's live and not just Memorex. But when you look at this here, which details the timeline for the album, you will see both a track listing for the album, which features Mercy in there, and also Mercy is all the way up there. So it was always intended to be on the album until very, very late in the process. And the original running order for the album looks to have been 1 Vertigo, 2 Crumbs From Your Table, 3 Sometimes, 4 that's in First Love. I don't know what that track that is, by the way. And then there's Miracle Drug at 5. I'm not sure what that is. Mercy at 6. Then Man at a Woman, 7. One Step Closer, 8. All Because of You, 9. Original of the Species at 10. Yahweh at 11, and Xanax and Wine was crossed out, which means that Mercy was kind of dropped out from the running order, and it never should have been. But we have it now, and since I'm not the ridiculous kind of person that would pay £300 to have the Wide Awake in Europe EP, which really should have been reissued, this is the only version of Mercy that I actually own. So Luckiest Man in the World, and it's got some good lyrics in there. So there's some lyrics have been rewritten, some bits have been resung and re-recorded. But it's not the 2004 version of it. Although it does say additional guitar by Bono, which after Bono's accident, I don't think he's been seen on stage playing guitar since 2011, and he had his accident in 2014. So we have a case where certainly a fair chunk of the original 2004 recording exists upon that. Then the next track is Treason. Treason has a long history. It was originally recorded, I think, by U2 with Dave Stewart and I think some other people, some rap dudes possibly, I'm not quite sure, and it's been remixed redubbed and turned into a U2 track. Treason is quite good, actually. I like it. It's not amazing, but it's pretty good. And it should have been a B-side at the time. And then track 5 is I Don't Want to See You Smile, which has a release previously on the medium rare and remastered and complete U2 sets under the name Smile. As far as I can tell, it's a slightly different mix of the same performance and recording. So you don't get anything different by having medium rare and remastered. Let's flip How to Reassemble an Atomic Bomb over to side 2. Pretend that's there. And it starts with Country Mile, which apparently was a single, although singles don't really exist these days. Certainly not if you're a U2 fan. And that's okay, I guess. I don't remember a huge amount about it. I listened to it and I just went, oh, sounds like a U2 B-side, which is basically exactly what it should have been at the time and didn't turn out to be. And then Happiness, which I think Happiness is great. Really like it. It's this kind of crunchy, stompy song with a fantastic call and response vocal that sits in it. Really enjoy that. Number 3 is Are You Gonna Wait Forever? Again, eagle-eyed fans will have noticed Are You Gonna Wait Forever does have an appearance elsewhere in the band's discography. It is, I think, the B-side to one of the Vertigo singles. It is on the Vertigo 2-tracker CD single. As far as I can tell, it's the same mix on the LP as is on the CD single. So you don't feel like you're missing out anything there. It's the same thing. It's not a new thing at all. And there are some B-sides, by the way, which came out, which weren't on anything else. And then we have the last 2 tracks on there. Theme from The Batman, which was The Edge wrote some theme music for the 2004 Batman animated season TV show, which was recorded by U2 and is on here, and that's great. Although it does lean the album into Passengers territory. Personally, I resequenced the album, by the way, this How to Reassemble an Atomic Bomb. I open with The Batman and All Because of You. And then the last track on there is All Because of You 2, which is a demo version of All Because of You, which is very similar, if not identical, to the version of All Because of You that's on medium rare and remastered. So again, if you have medium rare and remastered, you have a fair chunk of the tracks that are on this. They also have a fair chunk of tracks from the How to Dismantle an Atomic Bomb sessions that aren't on the album. That doesn't make sense. So this is quite good. I mean, if you were going to rank it, it certainly shouldn't be regarded as a classic U2 LP up there with all the other ones. It should be regarded more as a set of curiosities recorded at around about the same time. An album that never was. And it's not the album that it was ever going to be, because there are some songs which very clearly made it through to the final version of How to Dismantle an Atomic Bomb, but didn't make it onto this, because why would they be on here? Because they're already on there. Well, that's where the box set comes in, because there's several tracks which were recorded and released from the period which aren't on How to Reassemble an Atomic Bomb. So very quickly, we'll go through medium rare and remastered, or the complete U2 box set if you live in the iTunes age. There's Smile that's on here, which is available on How to Reassemble an Atomic Bomb. But there is the version of Xanax Unwind, the 3rd demo, which personally I think should have been on the box set to plump out the price, to make the price worthwhile. There's an alternative version of All Because of You. Hello, it's on this as well, so don't worry too much about that. But then there's 3 songs that did appear on How to Dismantle an Atomic Bomb, which aren't on How to Reassemble an Atomic Bomb, and aren't on the Dismantle Super Mega Uber Duper box set. So what are these on there? Well, there's an early version of Vertigo called Native Son that has different vocals. That was the version which the band wrote in 2003 that just wasn't quite hitting the mark. Vertigo is obviously a far superior and better song, but Native Son has been released. Why isn't Native Son on here, maybe? Why isn't there a 6th CD of extra studio tracks and mixes? Because there's plenty of space in the set, and also there's plenty of pounds that they want to charge you for this. There's also an alternative version of Yahweh and the early version of Sometimes You Can't Make It on Your Own that doesn't have the bridge that leads into the chorus that makes the song feel incomplete. So at least 4 songs on here aren't on here. So that it doesn't really give me the confidence to say that this is a complete and definitive box set. Because you're missing the demos of Yahweh, Native Son, Sometimes You Can't Make It on Your Own, and another version of Xanax and Wine. What else is not on this album? Well, there's quite a lot, truth be told. First and foremost, there's the recording of Neon Lights from 1997 for a Kraftwerk covers album that was issued on the second of the Vertigo CD singles. That isn't on this box set. What else have we got? Well, let's go through the singles. Let's look at what U2 have decided to release that isn't on here before we get into what U2 haven't decided to release that isn't on here either. So, for example, just purely from an audio perspective, there is the soundtrack to the U2 and 3 songs DVD that comes with the CD, DVD, and book pack versions of the album here. And those are acoustic versions of Crumbs from Your Table. No, actually acoustic versions of Vertigo, Crumbs from Your Table, and Sometimes You Can't Make It on Your Own. There are also alternative studio recordings of, there's Vertigo, which I think is on this, and also on the How to Dismantle, which was recorded at HQ. There is the HQ version of Sometimes You Can't Make It on Your Own, recorded in Dublin in November 2004. There are also, of course, on the other DVD singles. So we're looking at several audio tracks that have only been released on DVD that aren't on the box set. Also including and let me just quickly check here, the version of City of Blinding Lights from Brooklyn Bridge that's on that's on the City of Blinding Lights DVD single, which brings me to the material that could be released but hasn't been, because live in New York City on the 22nd of November 2004, the band did an hour-long TV show featuring them recording a video as well as performing 8 songs live at the bridge, Empire Fulton State Ferry Park Brooklyn Bridge. So that could have been on a DVD that's in the box set, and there isn't a DVD in the box set. The DVD is audio only, so you are missing out. We also have missing from this set, we have the Jackknife Lee mix of Fast Cars. It's on the remixes, but we also have a Jackknife Lee mix of Ave Maria, Bono's cover version of that old classic, and that is old, and that is allegedly a classic. So we have that. We have the studio version of Mercy. So we're already we're looking at several tracks which have been recorded during the period that aren't on the box set. Also including, deep breath now, one with Mary J. Blige, which was recorded at a soundtrack in a sound check in, I think, New Orleans or Vegas in 2005, that was issued as a single in 2006. The cover version of Tower of Song with Leonard Cohen from 2006. The cover version of John Lennon's Instant Karma from 2005 that was on the charity compilation. That's not on here. So already we're getting up to 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12 tracks, which should have been on this set. They aren't on there, just purely in terms of audio. Alternate studio performances, acoustic versions, cover versions, demos that have been released on fan club releases that aren't on here. And not only on that, this set is quite stingy when it comes to audio material, because we only have Live at Chicago. And Live at Chicago, as a set, is fine. It's a perfectly serviceable live show from the period, but it doesn't feature all of the known recordings that have been circulating from the tour that have been professionally mixed. So, for example, we've already got the Brooklyn Bridge show, which I've mentioned. We've got the Twickenham show, which was broadcast in full, or near enough in full, on BBC Radio 1. We have radio broadcasts or TV broadcasts from the rest of the tour. So we have a number of TV broadcasts and of professionally shot mix shows which aren't on here. So whilst we've got Vertigo Chicago, we don't have Live in Milan, which is available in DVD form on the U218. We don't have Buenos Aires 2006, which was broadcast on television. We don't have, I think it's Santiago 2006 that's on here. We're missing a lot of visual material. To really make this release worth the relatively big sticker price that we've got, I would have preferred at least one extra audio disc with all those missing audio tracks that you've got on there as demos and B-sides. So obviously Xanax and Wine, Native Son, Yahweh, Sometimes You Can't Make It on Your Own, the acoustic versions of Crumbs From Your Table, Vertigo, Sometimes You Can't Make It on Your Own, the studio performances of Vertigo and Sometimes You Can't Make It on Your Own, then the leaked demo of Mercy, which obviously they've reworked into The Luckiest Man in the World, and of course also Tower of Song, Instant Karma and One. And there's also a single mix which is mostly re-recorded of Original of the Species. So that's what you're looking at, 14 songs which aren't on here in audio form, which would benefit from being on this set and would make it feel a little bit more like better value for money. Where this set really falls down though, in my opinion, is the absence of any visual material in the set. Now U2 have released visual material previously. There are DVDs in the expanded versions of Unforgettable Fire. There's a live show from Paris on the 2007 edition of Joshua Tree, and there are 4 DVDs in the Achtung Baby 2011 Super Duper Mega Set, including Sydney 1993. This has none of that. It has no video material whatsoever. So it doesn't have the live shows from Chicago, Milan, Santiago, or Buenos Aires. It doesn't have U2 3D on disc. It doesn't have the documentaries that are released on the live from Chicago. So the extra material and documentaries that are on there, including alternate videos. It doesn't have the Brooklyn Bridge show on there. It doesn't have the videos for Vertigo, Sometimes You Can't Make It on Your Own, All Because of You, City of Blinding Lights, Original of the Species, or One with Mary J. Blige, let alone, of course, the material that's on the U2 and 3 songs documentary portion of this. So you could have put 3, 4 Blu-rays on there with a couple of shows, well, 4 shows on there, 5 shows actually, plus all the documentary material, and made the sticker price for this a little bit more palatable. But they didn't, which just makes me wonder. Is this the definitive version of the album? No, it absolutely isn't the definitive version of the album. It falls very short of being a definitive release of the album, especially when you've got sets like this that have something like 14 CDs and 7 live shows and reproduction 12-inch singles and all that type of stuff in there. And I'm not even getting into the fact that there's, like, you know, the Jackknife Lee remix of Vertigo available in visual form on a DVD single from 20 years ago that isn't on here. So realistically, be wary when you buy this. Be sure that you know what you're getting with the track listing, and know that you are missing some key parts of the tale. You're missing key alternate versions, key demos, some unreleased material, key B-sides, and you're being really shortchanged on the amount of live material that's in here. They could have even just put audio in for those if they really needed to plump it out. So you could have had 5 live shows there in visual form. They're all mixed, prepared, ready to go, and some of them have been upscaled, for example, for the band's YouTube channel during lockdown. So they do exist. There's a couple of documentaries that aren't on here. There's loads and loads of promo videos that aren't on here. And there's only 1 live show from the period where, as we all know, multiple live shows, at least 7 or 8, circulate in professionally shot, recorded, mixed broadcast form. So, how to dismantle an atomic bomb, the super mega uber duper box set. Well, it's worth getting, it really is, but buyer beware. Be aware that you're not getting everything. In fact, be aware that you're not getting anywhere near as much as you might be getting anywhere else, and instead think of it as just a very expensive way of owning a not amazing U2 album in How to Reassemble an Atomic Bomb, with some extra guff and gubbins in there. There's also some unreleased remixes that are on here. So there's a Ridanka mixes of Miracle Drug, I think it was an Indian Summer mix, maybe an Indian Temple mix of One Step Closer, and some previously circulating mixes of City of Blinding Lights and Vertigo, which amongst other things have been released on various 10 inches, 12 inches singles, and the 2010 fan club release Artificial Horizon. So in conclusion, I would buy this. I would do what I've done, which is I'd wait for it to be discounted after Christmas, and I'd buy a cheaper version of it at that point. And since it's after Christmas right now, don't pay the full £139 for this. Wait for it to be significantly discounted and pick it up cheap, because if music is what it's worth, then this is not worth more than about £99 in my opinion. And even then that works out at £20 a CD, and that is frankly a bit steep for what it is. But in the meantime, there you are. You won't listen to me, you'll buy it anyway, and you'll have a lovely time buying it. So instead, I would recommend that you go and buy this if you can buy a copy of that, stick with that for the time being, and then buy the other one when the opportunity arrives. Right, in the meantime, take care of yourselves, stay beautiful, and I will see you soon. And you will see over coming episodes how fast my beard grows. Or does it? Well, I'm sure you're not waiting on tenterhooks to find that out. And it's not tenterhooks, it's tenterhooks. But there you go. Right, see you later. Yeah, that's about it. Bye.